which is that Allah guides and misguides whom He wills. It's actually very funny. It says right here in the Quran in chapter 4, verse 14, it says the following. It says, and we did not send any messenger except in the language of his people to state clearly for them. So, he sent Muhammad, of course, in the Arabic language to speak to whom? To you and me. Why?
No, don't be silly. There's 124,000 other dudes who came before him because he's the last.
Yeah.
There was an Icelandic one, a Japanese one. There was like a London dialect, I reckon. I don't know, like Celtic, Turkish. There was like Cypriot, if there's any distinction. There was Greek. There was French. All of them nipped in before Muhammad, even though Muhammad was bringing a new revelation. They all got in early to avoid the rush. The 50 in the Bible, they're having them. They're going, yeah, they're our boys. But then the other 123,049, because Muhammad's like, we're still waiting for verification.
Yeah. But yeah, so, and then it says, and Allah sends thereby astray. Look, Allah sends astray whom He wills and guides whom He wills, and He is the exalted in might, the wise. And this is a part of many Quran verses which basically say the same thing, which is that it is Allah who guides into belief whom He wills and misguides whom He wills. So it also says in different verses, it says, speaking to Muhammad, supposedly, even if you did want them to believe, they would not believe, because people only believe or disbelieve if Allah wants them to believe or disbelieve. So if I was born as a Muslim and I eventually ended up disbelieving because I could not believe in this anymore, then that was devised, planned, written by Allah. It was His decision. He sent me astray. And although I really wanted to be guided, I really wanted to be guided to the truth, but He didn't do it. He sent me astray. So that's all His fault. It's also thereby His fault that I'm sitting here today with you and saying all these bad things about Allah. That's all His plan. Great job, Allah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you wouldn't have got to know me. That's obviously like where He's guiding you, because hashtag Jesus. However, further to that verse, He also says in another place He guides and yada yada, misguides who He misguides. And then He talks probably to Muhammad, I guess, but He says, and do not try to guide who I have misguided, because it's not going to work, G, is the kind of vibe. So dawah, like, what's the point in that? What's the point in trying to guide those who Allah has clearly misguided? Because they wouldn't be standing in front of your dawah stall if they weren't misguided in the first place, if you see what I mean.
This is actually a big issue that Islamic theology was plagued with within the first centuries. Especially, I mean, the 7th century Arabian desert was completely backward. There was no proper intelligent thought. People didn't think very much about these things. Muhammad probably came up with these verses impulsively because people did not believe him, and he was like, "Why don't they believe me?" And then he just was like, and then he just made up these Quran verses, which were like, "Oh, they don't believe because Allah doesn't want them to believe. Otherwise, they would believe, because this is fantastic." But then this whole theology reached other environments where people had been philosophizing for centuries, and there this whole thing caused a problem, and an Islamic division happened between those who believe in complete free will and those who believe in complete predetermination, and those who have different theories in between all that. And they condemned each other, came up with different theologies, agreed on the idea that there is both predetermination and free will, but they have still never solved this problem, and they will not debate about this issue.